Yeah.
Well, what did it do? It did something.
It just was like, surprise, you're live, and then I was supposed to touch go live. I thought it would do
You
it.
could have just touched go live anyway.
Yeah, I could have done it anyway. I thought when you scheduled it like that,
It would automatically do
that
it.
it would just automatically do it.
Now look, you can't see you.
I know, I got a monitor today.
Well, we gotta be able to see you, so you can answer questions.
I don't.
Look at the pretty people.
Okay, well,
The pretty people can see you.
they also need to be able to see that.
Ah, the little china cabinet. We're gonna have to sit closer together, I guess.
Okay.
Oh, you're gonna have to move this way.
Yeah, that's fine.
We can move this more towards the center. Oh, I'm looking terrible scary today.
Oh, me too. My face is all red for absolutely no reason. Look, my neck and my face are two completely different
Have you
colors.
been outside?
Not, well, I was earlier, but not much.
Well, I don't know. Do we have anybody with us?
No. Oh, one person.
Hello, whoever's here. I'm Wendy, and this is Sarah, and we're getting our live set up. We're not technical geniuses here, and we look a little rough. That's the beauty of what we're fixing today, is that you can just come in from outside. But my 7-year-old grandson's been here all afternoon, and you can have nothing planned for dinner. As long as you have a few things in your cabinet, in your refrigerator, you can come in and throw it together and have a delicious and healthy meal in just a few minutes, really. So I don't know if we should give a few minutes and see if anybody shows up, or if we should just get rolling. I almost think we should just roll forward.
Let's just get rolling, because
But we'll give you some background. In case you've never been with us before, I'm Wendy Spraker, and this is Sarah Blackwell. And together we run Loaves and Dishes. Loavesandishes.net is the website, and Sarah runs our YouTube channel. So most of the time, if you watch YouTube, you're going to be seeing and hearing Sarah. Those are her hands. That's her in the background of this little cooker. That's usually on her little table by her window in her kitchen.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Although I've moved to the island.
Oh, you've moved to the island.
Yeah,
Okay.
because we have that daylight light bulb now.
Oh, okay. And I'm wearing a hat because my hair is a mess and I've been outside all afternoon. So, anyway, the cooker does make some noise, and I hope it's not too distracting. But what you're going to need to make a rice bowl is some rice. And we have some just leftover rice from dinner one day earlier this week, right? Sarah brought the rice. Oh, from this afternoon. You made it today?
Mm-hmm. I just put it in that rice cooker when I went to go take a shower.
Okay, well, thank you. Because I'd ask her to stop at the Chinese food restaurant and just pick up one of those little containers of rice, because you can do that too. You can use minute rice. You can use the ready-to-serve rice, which I used for family dinner last week. How is that to be a cook on a website, and you just use the microwave and serve rice to feed your family? But I was in a hurry, so that's what I did.
Yeah, well, and if you have a rice cooker, you can just put it in the rice cooker and go do something else.
Yep, rice cookers are great. In fact, I had one for years that I bought at the Dollar General for $10.
I bought mine on Amazon for like $30, and it occasionally does this thing where like I push the button and it like pretends like it's working, but it doesn't do anything.
Oh.
I think I'm gonna have to get a new one, and I really want one of those fancy ones that like sings a little song when you push the button.
Oh.
But they're very expensive.
You know your Instant Pot will cook rice.
I hate my Instant Pot. My Instant Pot can get wrecked. I hate it.
If you would listen to us much, you'll find out how much neither of us really like our Instant Pot, but we do Instant Pot recipes. So anyway, rice. You can use cauliflower rice. You don't even have to use rice, but you probably do need, unless you're on a low-carb diet, in which case cauliflower rice. You could do a pasta. You could do a bean in the bottom of your bowl. You could do
like zoodles.
You could, I mean, there's any number of things, but in general, you want a carb in the bottom. Diced potatoes, tater tots, French fries, baked potato. Although it wouldn't really be a bowl if you did a baked potato, but you could do a baked potato. Yeah. I mean, this is something you're making at home. And let me tell you though where this whole thought come from. I realize this is a popular idea probably all around the country. A friend and I went to El Paso a little over a year ago. Went to a Mexican fusion is what I would call it, restaurant. And we had a rice bowl there that I haven't quit thinking about yet. It had, I don't even know what all it had in it. It had rice, it had some smoked meat, it had, well, maybe we ordered 2 kinds of meat. And then it had some pickled vegetables in there. It had a boiled egg, it had seeds and nuts and toasted, I think the nuts were toasted sunflower seeds, and some onion and some 2 kinds of dressing. It was just delicious. It was delicious. And I haven't quit thinking about it yet. And I've made them at home several times. And I made them for vacation. When we go on vacation, we take nights where we take turns cooking. So on my night to cook, I made rice bowls. And I just set out rice and then all kinds of ingredients. So everybody could make their own and pick and choose what they liked. And then I had a recommended course to take. And it got eaten every bite, I think, didn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
everybody loved it. So so that was a great thing for vacation. It was light and fresh, and you're not overstuffed at the end of your meal. So so here's what you're gonna need. You need some kind of carb to put in the bottom, and then you start with your toppings. So you can do, like I just said, all kinds of toppings. Do you have our list of stuff? Mm-hmm. Sarah, pull up the list because I don't even remember what I put in the recipe ingredients that you should bring.
Okay, so a protein. So you could do chicken, pork, beef, tofu, any meat substitute. You can do black beans, pinto beans, peas, eggs, any sort of like protein that you want. Some kind of green vegetable. We're going to use spinach today because I had some spinach in the fridge. You could do kale, collards, green beans, broccoli, whatever it is that you've got or that you like. A chopped, fresh, colorful vegetable. So purple onion, red pepper, yellow pepper, green pepper, drained corn. You could just use canned corn if you wanted. I don't know, zucchini, squash, any kind of vegetable that you've got laying around. Any kind of seeds that you like. Sesame seeds, sunflower seeds, pecan, walnuts, peanuts, etc. A fried ingredient, something to give it a little crunch, like fried okra, tortilla chips, wonton strips, anything like that. Any kind of sauce that you like. Hot sauce, ranch dressing, honey mustard, anything like that. Something a little bit sweet, like raisins or dried fruit. Maybe some olive oil or sesame oil, and some salt and pepper.
Yep, that's it. So, and it's widely varied. So just go with what you like, go with what you've got in the fridge, go with what you've got left over. This is a great way to use up leftovers. Let's talk about bowls. So I have these humongous bowls that really could be a serving bowl, but
you could wear that like a hat.
You could wear it like a hat. I like to do rice bowls in these, but you don't have to have a gigantic fancy bowl for this. Your regular cereal bowl will be just fine. And if you have people, I was going to say kids, but I know from being around people that sometimes it's adults, don't like for their food to touch, you don't have to do it in a bowl. What I would do in that case is give them a plate, put the rice in the middle, and then put the things to put on top of it in little piles around it, and then they can mix it if they want, or they can get a bite of this and a bite of that. That's the way I would do it for people who don't like their food to touch. How I do it in a big bowl like this is I put the rice in the middle and the bottom, and then I kind of pile the ingredients like I just said for a plate, kind of around the edge, and then drizzle the dressing on top. And you can go with all kinds of dressings. I've got some great dressing recipes on loavesandishes.net. One that would go with almost everything is a yum yum sauce. That recipe's on there. If you like something a little bit more spicy, then go with the tiger sauce. We've got salad dressings listed on there. If you have a very standard American taste, go with ranch or some olive oil, or even a sesame oil if you're feeling a little out there. Anyway, so that's what you do for a bowl. And then how do you eat it? You just fork or spoon, tip your bowl up and take a swallow. It's up to you, really. So, well, what we're going to do is I'm going to show you how to put this together. Sarah's manning the computer, so if you have a question, feel free to ask and Sarah will just pop in and interrupt, and you're not interrupting. Don't worry about that. Anything else to tell people as a beginner?
No.
Thing? Do we have any people joining us yet? We don't have any people yet. Where are you? All you people who wanted lives.
Not here.
No, they're not here. Of course, maybe they can't do 5:30 on Mondays. Anyway, okay, so I'm gonna turn my thing on. You want it on medium, high heat.
First.
I don't have my glasses on.
I'd say
So it's like 350-ish.
that's pretty hot.
Sarah says that's too hot.
This thing gets.
It does get smoking hot really fast.
Yeah.
If you want to know, this is an induction burner, right?
Yeah.
That's what it's called.
And it gets hot very quick.
It does heat up very fast. It's kind of nice to cook on once you kind of get control of it. But you got to be careful about what kind of pan. You have to have a pan that will work on induction. Not all do. So generally speaking, cast iron pans work, but most of my cast iron pans have a rim around the bottom, like a little foot on them, and it lifts them up off the eye, and then it won't work. So you have to have a flat bottom cast iron. So first thing you want to do, and I'm going to do this sitting down, which I'm not used to cooking sitting down. You may see me pop up.
I think you could stand up. Do you want to zoom in on the bowl?
Yeah, let's zoom in on the bowl.
Let's see if we can get this.
While Sarah's doing that, I'm just going to put a little oil in.
Can we zoom?
That's about a tablespoon of oil.
Well, that's as zoomy as I can go.
You can lift the center bar up, twist those knobs, and do the bottom one, and it'll go up further.
I don't think we need to go up higher, but I can.
But I'm saying you can go up higher and then angle down more.
Oh, okay.
There. Just get the pan. Oh, we're smoking.
Yeah, it gets hot really fast. I can't just get the pan. It won't let me like adjust where it is.
So bummer.
Yeah.
Okay, we're burning our oil.
Yeah.
Take the pan off the heat.
I told you, the thing gets really hot really fast.
Hey, we got a viewer. Hey, viewer. We're cooling the pan off. It got really, really hot. I used to be pretty adept at cooking on this burner, but I haven't cooked on it in a long time, so Sarah mostly cooks on it now. Now this is leftover rice, so it's kind of stuck together a little. I have to break it up. I may have to go get a different tool to work with.
Yeah, that's good. Sucks.
Will you grab like a wooden spoon? Okay, I'm gonna do enough for just one rice bowl. So 1 serving of rice is what you want, about a half a cup. I'll take this one. Thank you. Now I gotta turn it back up. So if you've got rice clumps, just break them up. You might have to add a little water if your rice is like 2 days old, or if it's not been tightly covered in the fridge. And the point is, it's already cooked. You don't really have to do anything to it. We're just heating it up, that's all.
You could also just heat it up in the microwave too.
You could heat it up in the microwave. And we're going to heat everything in this pan, so I'm not even going to worry if I don't get it all scooped up when I'm ready to scoop it up. But you do want to have a little oil in the pan because that helps it cook a little better, and it gives it a few little pieces will have a fried crunch, and that is a really nice mouthfeel actually when you're eating it. So. All right. And how do you know when your rice is heated up in the pan? Well, you could taste it. But you'll notice that the little rice grains kind of hop around a little bit, and that they're hot when they are hopping around, so that's how I know. And I'm just going to slide stuff out of the way. Our one viewer left. That's so sad. trolls today. Come on, trolls. You're falling down on the job. It's your job to make us miserable. Ask terrible questions, embarrassing questions that Sarah has to be shocked when she reads and then erase real quickly.
Yeah.
Alright. Alright. Rice in the center of the bowl. Okay. Then we're going to saute a little. No, let's do meat next. Let's do the protein. Alright. I'm going to add a little bit more oil to my pan. About a tablespoon and a half if you want to know the truth, but about a tablespoon is what you really want. And then enough meat for one person. And that is usually a third to a half a cup of meat is a normal portion of meat for a person. But now some of you are going, I could never eat a third of a cup of meat. That's way too much. And some of you are saying, a half a cup? Who eats a half a cup? So it's up to you. What your tastes allow and prefer. That's what it is. But in general, I'm just saying in general. And we're just doing this meat that I'm using is already cooked. If you're using fresh meat, then you're going to want to cook that first before you cook the rice so that everything gets into the bowl when it's hot. And you'll want to use a different pan than what you're heating things up in. So now this is a smoked pork. But as Sarah was telling you at the beginning, you don't have to use just one kind of meat. You can use whatever you have. So if you have leftover chicken, this is a great way to make leftovers kind of go for a while. Because you're having so much other stuff that you don't have to have a full serving for everyone. So if you've got chicken on the bone, pick it off the bone and do it this way. So that's probably heated through.
Just like bacon.
Yeah, it's really good.
No, call it that toast thing and say we were going to lie. Oh,
Okay, thank you. Maybe he'll log on while he's rolling down the road.
Yeah, we'll have one viewer.
One viewer. Wah, wah. Who is the other person who had a rice bowl with me in El Paso? Okay, so see how we did meat in just one part of the bowl? That's what you want. And then we're going to saute a little spinach. The spinach is big, and I used some of it for lunch. I just ripped it. If y'all could see how my kid did her spinach.
I didn't want the stems. I just grabbed a handful and yanked it off.
Okay.
It seemed like a good way to do it to me.
Okay,
And it
we'll
got-
do it that way.
It got a little wonky in the car.
That's alright. I'm ripping the spinach too. Did you want some more of this?
No, it looks like I'm just
A cow's been eating our spinach.
I don't know why Richie bought that spinach. I wanted
I
the
don't
spinach in
either.
a box, and
In
that's
the
what he
plastic
bought.
box.
Yeah, that's what he bought. And this is the biggest spinach I've ever seen in my life.
I bet you $1 to a donut that this was half the price of a box of spinach.
Yeah.
This is $2.50 and a box was $6. Because I just bought one of those big boxes last night.
And I asked for a pack of romaine lettuce. I let him do the grocery shopping. I asked for a pack of romaine lettuce. He came home with one head of romaine lettuce. That's supposed to last me for a week. For lunches.
Y'all are eating a lot of salads and things.
I'm trying to eat more vegetables. I'm having a lot of stomach problems. I think it's because I don't eat enough vegetables.
That is, you know what? That is a thing that you can kind of make note of. Is okay. That looks done. So, if you've never sautéed spinach before, this is great in a rice bowl because one, it gives you some color, and for another, it gives you some fiber, and it's a little easier to digest than some greens. Like if if you've had kale and you were like, oh, I'm never doing anything like that again, spinach is not as rough as kale. It's a more tender green vegetable, and it doesn't have a ton of flavor on its own, so it becomes whatever flavor you make it. So usually I put some minced garlic in the pan, and then I put my spinach in, and a little oil, salt and pepper, and that's really all it needs. And then maybe a sprinkle of lemon juice or something, lime juice. That'll make it really good. Okay, have we heated everything we need to heat? I think we have. So, although I'm going to toast a few of these sunflower seeds. I've got sunflower seeds here, and you could just put them on as is, but they're pretty good if you toast them. When you toast them, you just put them in the pan for a second, and they heat up really quickly. And while we're doing that, I'm going to fish some of these. I've got some pickled onions. Ooh, pickled onions I'm going to put in here. Here. Give them a twirl.
We only need like 30 seconds in here.
Pickled onions are pretty strong, so I'm just doing a little tiny bit of those. You can also toast all kinds of seeds, pecans and all that in the oven on like a baking sheet. And you don't have to add any oil or anything, you just put them in there. But let me tell you, if it's almonds, particularly almond slivers that you're doing, watch those like a hawk, because this is what happens. Nothing's happening, nothing's happening, nothing's happening. Burnt. That's what they do. So,
Okay, are we done with this?
yeah. Alright, Sarah's going to take the pan away before it starts to smoke. Now I've got dried cranberries here. You could use raisins, any dried fruit really. And that seems like a weird thing to put in with vegetables and meat. But it gives a nice sweet flavor, and it gives a chewy texture. And I really love textures when I'm eating. So. And I'm going to add a little cashews in here. We're going heavy on nuts today because I hadn't been to the grocery store because I've been out of town. So, and then I wanted to show you my Guatemala Island mustard sauce, but I swear I can't find it.
You should have told me. I would have gone big jar. We just opened it.
And the other thing I wanted to show you, but I spilled it in my refrigerator, is called Chili Crisp. Have you tried Chili Crisp?
From Trader Joe's? Yeah.
I don't know where I got it. Maybe I did get it at Trader Joe's.
Yeah, Trader Joe's has the Chili Crisp, and it's
It
perfect.
is so good. So Trader Joe's Chili Crisp, I'm sure you can get it online, probably Amazon.
You could probably get it other places now too, because it's
Yeah.
more popular.
In fact, I was listening to a podcast called Splendid Table. And if you've never listened to Splendid Table, you should. It's the guy interviews chefs from all over the place, and the conversations they have are amazing. But one of the chefs was talking about how chili crisp is her new favorite ingredient, and she's been trying. Well, a reader had called in, whatever, wanting to know how you make chili crisp. And she said that there's lots of ways to do it, and she gave her recipe for it. But what it is like a chili oil, a red chili oil. And you want a really good chili oil if you're going to make it. I recommend doing like Brave Sarah did at our favorite Chinese restaurant. What's it called?
New Szechuan?
New Szechuan. She boldly asked them for some of their chili oil.
Yeah, they sell it in little. A lot of restaurants will sell it in little quart containers. We have it in our fridge. I put it on stuff randomly.
And it's not going to go bad.
No, because it's just oil.
And it's so freaking hot till... Nothing could grow in there. Are you kidding?
It is pretty hot.
But it has little crunchy bits of stuff in there. So, and she said that in hers, that you can use all kinds of things for the crunchy bits. Like you can fry up some chopped scallions, or use toasted sesame seeds, or you can use freeze-dried garlic, or she just gave a list of about 1 million things you could. I can't even think of that many things off the top of my head, but she gave a list. And that you mix it up, and what a great Christmas present that would be to give people your homemade chili oil. That is a great idea. So So those of you on my Christmas list know that I may be experimenting with that. This year I did moonshines.
You're gonna get us in trouble.
So,
All right.
you know, like the moon shines from the sky. Anyway, okay. So this is our rice bowl for tonight. Yours might look totally different. If I had some fresh tomato that was good, it's not the time of year for great tomatoes, although you're starting to find some. If you found a great tomato, that's a great, beautiful, perfect topping because it's got that little acidic bite to it. Plus it's pretty. Plus it tastes good. So, you want to try a bite?
No, I don't. It has a lot of things in it that I hate.
What do you hate?
Well, I hate craisins for one. I don't mind spinach raw, but I don't like it cooked.
How can you not like it cooked? That's how it's most digestible.
I don't like it. And I don't really like onions.
That's really good.
I need some salt and pepper.
Need a little more salt. So I went out of town this weekend. I took my salt and pepper containers with me, and they're still in the car. I didn't get that done. So
Now there's salt everywhere.
there's salt all over the table, but that's okay because you know who has to clean it up? Me. That's really good. So we had some people write in with questions.
Okay, so somebody asked, they want to use bacon.
Oh,
I
in the
wanna
rice
use-
bowl?
It says, I want to use the bacon you suggest using in beans, but I don't know if I need to cut it up or if I need to leave it whole.
They want to use it in a rice bowl? They want to use it in beans.
I don't understand the question. If you want to use it in the rice bowl, sure, go ahead, use bacon.
If you're going to use bacon in this rice bowl, this is what I'm going to suggest. I think you should cut it up and then fry it in your pan. Let it get really good and crispy. And use a really good quality bacon or the best quality bacon you can afford. And right now the prices are all over the place. And when I was at the store last week, there was a Hormel Black Label Center Cut bacon that was on sale for $3.99. And the cheap store brand bacon that's real thin and like when you pull it out of the package it like comes apart in strings, that was $7.99. So it's not always the price. Just look and try to find one that has the most meat, that seems to be whole, and usually a slightly thicker cut. Not necessarily the thick cut, but just a little bit thicker cut in the package that you can see is usually the good way to tell. If you're asking about bacon for beans, cut your bacon up and just put it uncooked into your beans because pintos are going to cook all day long and that bacon will cook with the pintos. That's the idea, is that the flavor is going to go in the beans.
It will not get crispy that way though.
It won't get crispy, but you're not going to have crispy bacon. And even if you put crispy pieces in your pintos and then they simmer for 3 hours, your bacon's not going to be crispy and you're going to have lost a bunch of the flavor when you cooked it in the pan. So most people are not going after that piece of cooked bacon in their beans. It's just something that may end up on their fork. But the idea is not to have the bacon for the look of it or the mouthfeel or anything. It's totally about flavor. You could even take the bacon out before you serve the pintos if you can fish around in there and find them. So
I don't think these questions are for rice bowls. They don't make sense.
okay, they're just questions.
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, I want to tell you this bacon story.
A bacon story?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
I was listening to that Splendid Table on the way to my trip this weekend. And the chef was somebody who was a classically trained chef.
Okay.
She worked for Martha Stewart Productions. I don't know if it was magazine or TV show or what.
Yeah.
So she also got to know Martha's BFF Snoop Dogg.
Fun.
And she had the opportunity to watch Snoop Dogg prepare a pound of bacon on the show or something. And she said how he faced it was he just put the whole pound of bacon in the pan and stirred it. And kept stirring it until it was done. This is Missy, my foster dog, that's wandering around behind me. She's very interested in the rice bowl. You may see her in just a second nudge my arm with her nose, because there's her head. Let's see. Anyway, she said that is not at all how any chef is ever trained to cook bacon. Chefs are trained to put it in the oven and bake it, or to lay it flat in a pan like your mom does when she's cooking breakfast. But that's not how Snoop Dogg cooks bacon. And she said that what she learned is that it's really good that way, and it comes out super crispy and perfect, like end to end perfect. And that Snoop Dogg said, she said something to him about it, and that he said, yeah, and did you notice how great it is on a sandwich? Because it kind of curls up, the whole bacon curls up, and so when you put it on a sandwich, it adds a whole lot of extra crunch to your sandwich. And she said, and that's just how you think you know everything when you're a classically trained chef, you think you know everything about cooking, but then you find out that that's not necessarily how everybody does it, because some people are having other pressures, like a mom who has 5 children to feed, and these young ones got to get something in their belly right now, and she's got to hurry up and get this bacon done, and that's way quicker and easier than stringing it across a pan and putting it in the oven, or cooking it one at a time in a pan. And it also makes a great sandwich bacon. So I haven't had the chance to try that yet, but I heard it, and I've been fascinated by that.
Yes.
So. Okay, next question.
That's it.
We didn't have any other questions? Just bacon and beans?
I thought those. You want me to, even though
Yeah,
they don't?
yeah.
Okay. All right. So this person
I'm gonna let Sarah answer this one, and I'm just gonna eat some of this rice bowl.
You don't want me to answer this one. This one is very accusatory. And it says, you always use too much garlic. I don't like garlic, and every recipe of yours has garlic in it. What am I going to do? Get a life.
Don't put so much bacon in there. Oh, I said I was gonna let Sarah answer it. Go ahead, Sarah.
Don't put garlic in it if you don't like garlic. There's the question that. But if you don't like garlic, something's wrong with you. And that's just what I think. The next question is also kind of accusatory.
That's the equivalent of people who don't like dogs.
I think so. I think that if you don't like bacon, it's the same thing as not liking dogs.
Don't like garlic.
They don't like garlic.
Not part of our tribe.
That's what I meant. If you don't like garlic, you might need to find another cooking channel, because I put garlic. I was just thinking that you needed to put some garlic in that.
I do, but my garlic powder's out in the car.
Okay.
Yeah, put garlic powder in here, or better than that, actual minced garlic would be great.
You just saute it up when you cook the spinach or the meat.
So, if you think I put too much garlic in things, just don't put it in. You'll be fine. If you like onion powder or onions, go a little heavier on the onion, would be my advice. The only thing that I can only think of one recipe that would make a huge difference if you didn't put garlic in, and that's the 40 garlic chicken.
That's the whole recipe.
Right.
So that one's not
So
gonna
just
work.
leave that one off of your repertoire.
Yeah. I can't imagine not liking garlic though.
I can understand being allergic to garlic.
Yeah. If you're allergic to garlic, you can still watch our YouTube. That's fine. It's not your fault.
We're sorry that you're allergic to garlic.
Yeah.
But if you don't like garlic, just leave it off.
Yeah.
Or add more. Leave it off and add more onion.
Yeah.
That's the only thing I know to do. And I'm sorry if I offended you, but there's other cooking channels.
I'm not. Why do you always add so much salt during cooking? I can't have all that salt.
Okay. What do you say?
Then don't add the salt. The salt makes it taste good. Salt is seasoning, and you need it. You have to have it. Salt is important for your body. But if you can't have all the salt, then don't add so much salt.
Right. Let's talk salts for a second. So I always use kosher salt. This is Food Lion brand kosher salt. I personally prefer the Morton kosher salt. There's another one that comes in a red box that I know a lot of actual chefs prefer, but I like
Red Crystal or something.
red,
like that.
yeah, something like that, something crystal. The Red Crystal brand has a little bit larger flake than the Morton brand kosher salt. This Food Lion brand is about the same as the Morton.
The Food Lion brand is really square. I don't like how square it is.
Yeah, this is not my favorite, but I've noticed since the big sickness, I'm not going to say it in case somehow that there's a bot listening and that will kick us off, but since the big sickness, that it has become harder and harder to get kosher salt.
Yeah, I haven't been able to find Morton kosher salt.
So I'm kind of just using what I can get. Yeah. That's kosher salt. There's like Himalayan pink salt. It has a similar size. Oh, let me get to this. The reason you might choose a different kind of salt, like a kosher versus a Himalayan versus a table salt versus sea salt, is because, like, I think it is easier to control how much salt you put in a recipe when you have a larger crystal, because we put it in like this. We're not shaking it like this. We're putting it in with our fingers so that we can be careful about how much we add. And with a larger flake, you're not adding as much, and you get more salty flavor with a large flake than you do with like a table salt that's just like overpoweringly super salty immediately.
A table salt is saltier than a kosher salt.
Yeah, it's all salt. It's all the same salt. It's just that table salt is ground up finer than kosher salt. Himalayan salt it's that pink salt, and I guess it comes from the Himalayas. I'm not really sure about its origin.
People think that it's better for you, but
people think it's better for you. I don't know if it is or if it isn't. It's pink.
It's
kind of fun
salt.
to use. The Himalayan salt that I've been using out of the bag at somebody else's house is actually smaller than kosher salt, and so you have to be more careful with it. Sea salt is kind of like it's more of a flake, I think, the ones I've used. I don't know about you.
I haven't used sea salt. I'm a kosher salt.
But it is similar. It is similar in texture to kosher salt. And then table salt is ground real fine. You know how fine those little square crystals are. And you have to be so careful with that. So when you see us get a great big pinch of salt and do like this, it's kosher salt. That's not as much actual salt as if we were to do that with. You could never handle that amount of salt if it was table salt.
It's way too much.
Yeah. So that's the differences in salt. But if you can't have salt, there are other things you can do. The salt substitutes like no salt, Morton no salt is a option. Those are actually potassium though. Most salt substitutes are potassium. And so if you have a potassium issue, or if you're taking a fluid pill, or there are certain other medications that you're not allowed to have so much potassium. So consult with your doctor before you use a salt substitute if you're not supposed to have salt. Then the other things that you can do is you can amp up other flavorings, which is not going to take the place of salt. If you're missing salt and you're wanting salt and you can't have any salt, then you're not going to totally replace salt where you don't miss it, but you can at least like overcome some of that with your flavorings. And you want to do that with strong flavors and sometimes with spiciness. So like a chili powder or a curry powder or a turmeric or plain old cumin or what else has a strong flavor? Parsley sometimes has a strong flavor.
A lot of fresh herbs.
Fresh herbs are stronger.
You have to be careful though if you get any like seasoning mixes, like say you like lemon pepper for example. Sometimes they put salt in seasoning mixes. So like if you got like a taco seasoning and you were just using that as like a salt replacement, you need to check the label because it could have salt in it.
It probably does.
It probably does. And like my lemon pepper that I bought, I didn't think it had any salt in it, and I added salt to something and I added lemon pepper and I tasted it and I was like, why is this so salty? And my lemon pepper had salt in it. So you have to be careful with that kind of thing.
Yep. And you also have to be careful when something is labeled less sodium. Weird. Did my phone say somebody was here?
No, I heard the door open.
I think the wind blew it open.
It's a ghost.
It's a slightly windy day and the back door just came open,
But it's not open, it's closed.
okay, well it closed itself then. But that's okay. I live in an old house and the wind sucks and opens doors all the time, even
It's
though
definitely a ghost.
everything is closed. But anyway, if something says less sodium, like say you pick up Worcestershire sauce and it says 35% less sodium, that doesn't mean it's no salt. that means it has less than their usual amount. It's probably still loaded with salt. So just read your labels carefully. If you don't know how to do that, then get your doctor to refer you to a nutritionist. But the other way that you can get a salty flavor, and when I've had to be careful with my salt in the past, this is what I've done. When you add vinegars to things, that briny flavor gives your mouth the thought that it's salty rather than, I don't know why that is, but it is. So everything's not good with vinegar on it, but like a salad, I usually put salt on a salad, and if instead I use like a balsamic vinegar and oil dressing instead, then that has a salty flavor and sometimes also a sweet flavor, even without having any sugar or salt in it. Okay, anything else?
That's it.
There's lots of salt replacements, like Mrs. Dash has about 1 million different flavors, so you can find one you like. Yeah. Anyway,
I bet vinegar would be really good in that.
Mm-hmm. I think I forgot to say that you want to put a dressing on the top. I think I started on my Guatemala Island, but I couldn't find it. I put Thousand Island on there, but you can use whatever.
That's it.
No other questions?
Nope.
Well, that's everything we know about bacon and salt and garlic. Okay, well, is anybody signed on and having questions about rice bowls?
We have one viewer right now.
Hello, viewer.
Maybe, maybe not.
Anyway, we're glad you're here, and we're glad you joined us. And I'm thinking this is not a great time for lives, maybe.
Probably not.
But this is the time that Sarah and I could do it, so here we are.
You can watch it later.
Yeah. Okay, well, with that, we'll sign off. Have a good day. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. Oh, what are we doing next week? Sarah will look it up.
I don't know. I think we're doing kitchen tools. Oh, ingredients that we always keep on hand.
Oh, next week we're going to talk about ingredients we always keep on hand, and we're doing a recipe. Did you look and see what recipe it was? Did you see that?
I don't think we're doing. It's not on the list.
I put it
Oh
on
yeah,
there.
you did. Roasted in the pan chicken using chicken gravy packet.
Roasted chicken with chicken gravy. That's become one of my new easy favorite meals. So what we'll do is prepare it, and we'll stick it in the oven, but we probably won't have the finished product. So, but you'll know it. Roasted chicken in a pan. It's got gravy in the bottom. So, okay. See you next week. Bye.